Hello everybody and welcome to Mid-Ohio. It's been around since the early 1960s and this weekend playing host to IMSA for the first time since 2012. We've got a race, first of two, for the Porsche GT3 Cup Challenge USA by Yokohama coming up, and in a moment or two's time we'll hear those most famous words in sports. Shea Adam and Jeremy Shaw taking you through the race. It's all live here on IMSA Radio.
The Porsche GT3 Cup Challenge USA
by Yokohama
on IMSA Radio.
Drivers, start your Porsche engines.
Spot on time, we hear the engines fire up. Let's take a look at the grids. 21 cars lining up, two different classes of cars, three different classes for the drivers. Jeremy Shaw has the runners and riders.
Yep, 21 cars and two categories, as you say. The Gold Cup cars, they are for the 991 shaped cars built between 2014 and 2016, and the Platinum class for the newer cars built from 17 and this season. Starting at the back of the grid, Kurt Fazekas didn't get a chance to qualify in the number 52 Kelly Moss Road and Race Porsche, but he is going to start the race from the back of the field, and he's car number 52. Row 10 of the grid, Greg Palmer, also for Kelly Moss Road and Racing, car number 44. Alongside him for Perfal Infrastructure from Canada, car number 34 is Sean McKay. Row 9 on the outside, Rob Ferriol in his first season of racing for TPC Racing, that's car number 5, another Gold Cup car, and Eduardo de Leon from Mexico for JDX Racing in car number 22. Bill Smith in car number 42 for Top Racing, and Scott Wellham in number 61 for Kelly Moss Road and Race will share row 8. Ahead of them, also for Top Racing, car number 56 is David Baker, and the pole sitter in the Gold Cup category, Victor Gomez the fourth in car number 25 for NGT Motorsport. Row 6 on the outside, Michael Levitt is the veteran in for TPC Racing in car number 36, and Fred Portad in car number 20 for Wright Motorsports. Jeff Boss from Narragansett, Rhode Island for JDX Racing in car number 12 will start from the 10th position. Alongside him, Charlie Luck, car number 45 for Wright Motorsports. He is the Masters Championship leader for the more life experienced drivers coming into this round, having won the Masters category 3 times in the 4 races. Alan Metney in car number 99 for Kelly Moss and AM Motorsports will start in the 8th position. Alongside car number 43, Mark Kawami for JDX Racing from Columbus, Ohio in 7th place. Row 3 as we get on the outside, Maxwell Root in car number 7, also for Wright Motorsports, and the Moore Speed car number 19 for Will Hardeman. Row 2, David Kolkman from Germany, car number 71 for Park Place Motorsports, and for Kelly Moss Road and Race, car number 1 is Roman DeAngelis. On the front row of the grid, on the outside, Trenton Estep for JDX Racing, car number 3, and for Wright Motorsports, based right here in Ohio, in Batavia, the 27-year-old from Brooklyn, New York, his first pole position for car number 91 is Anthony Imperato.
And what a race we have in store, Jeremy. I love it when they actually listen. I got to say, drivers, start your engines, and they did. How cool is that? We have a very exciting race. 21 cars slated to take the green flag for the first of 2 races this weekend. 45 minutes on the clock, and the Porsche safety car leading them around. It will be a safety car if called upon again. Right now, it is the pace car, and the lights have gone off. They will need to line up 2 by 2, as Noah would have it on his arc, as they come across the start-finish line, but it is not the start line, it is only the finish line, because Dennis Paul is waiting over here across from us, Jeremy. He will not be given the green flag to these guys to get things started, though. That will be Tanny, who is waiting along the stretch.
That's right, he's given the position, the signal there for the drivers to line up 2 abreast to get ready for the starting was for the first time in his career, his 3rd season of racing in that Wright Motorsports entry. Anthony Imperato will start from the pole position, but what a championship battle we've got. Just 1 point between Trenton Estep, who starts 2nd, leads by 1 point over Will Hardeman, and Roman DeAngelis, who starts in the 3rd position, which is 1 point further behind as well. Couldn't be much tighter than that.
And Trenton Estep waited a long time before going out off the optimal racing line. Doesn't want any additional clag on those Yokohamas, as they are very patient. Getting up towards Julia Julie, the Yokohama brand Brand Ambassador, who will wave the green flag, and a jump from Anthony Imperato. He gets going as Taney is there as well. And there's rain, Jeremy. There is a lot of moisture being kicked up along the stretch.
Oh, that's bizarre. It's dry as a bone here, isn't it? On our side.
No, it's getting wet. It's starting to rain here in mid-Ohio. We knew it was coming. We knew it would be a possibility, but all of these cars would have gone out on the slick tires. Going through the back half of the first lap, it is Imperato ahead of Estep. David Kolkman, with a really good start, is battling with Roman DeAngelis for that third position. Kolkman getting the better of that. DeAngelis qualified better.
That's what happened last time out at Barber Motorsports Park. There it was Roman DeAngelis who started from the pole in race 2, but it was Kolkman who got the jump at the start and went on to win the race. But what a great start that was for Anthony Imperato for Wright Motorsports in that number 91 Henry Rifles Porsche.
His hands are full, though, because Trenton Estep is looming large in his rearview mirror. The cars cross the start-finish line for the first time in racing conditions. 2 minutes having elapsed on the clock already as they start the clock as soon as they cross their finish line. But it was a good first sector for Trenton Estep, as Sean McKeague has showed us stopped on the track right now in the number 34. Good also, we should note, to see that Kurt Fizikis did make the start of the race. He did not partake in the qualifying session, so started last in the number 52. It is the battle at the front, though, as Anthony Imperato has to fend off Estep, who got a really good run coming out of turn 2.
Yeah, and it is quite wet all the way down the back straight there, but it's quite remarkable conditions here because the rest of the track, pretty much here under braking for turn 4, is absolutely bone dry. Just that one section, about 300 yards on the straight, is completely wet, but the rest of the track is dry. We'll see whether that will remain, of course.
Well, looking at the pit straight, Jeremy, it is getting darker. Not the clouds, but the actual tarmac itself, which lends to think that there is some moisture falling down on it. And out behind us, out towards where they are on track right now, it doesn't appear to be raining. That being said, it could be moving in and could get much, much wetter before the end of this race. Imperato is doing a very good job to hold off Estep, though. Absolutely magnificent job for I mean, neither of them been racing very long. I mean, Trenton Estep in that car number 3, he's only 18 years of age, but he's got a lot of racing miles under his belt in a bunch of different cars. Anthony Imperato really doesn't. It's just in this series, and he's doing a magnificent job. His best finish coming into this weekend in car number 91 is a second place finish. That was Sonoma Raceway, the end of last year. Well, if anyone is prepared to drive in the rain, to race in the rain, it would be these Porsche contenders. As Estep goes way wide into turn 3, he very nearly ran off the track, but managed to get it gathered back up. Now he's falling into the grasps of David Kolkman, the German in this Park Place Motorsports Porsche. That is the car that won the last time we were racing in the rain at Barber Motorsport Park. They've got a bit of experience racing these cars in not great conditions, and they've got quite a bit more experience driving around this circuit when it has been damp. Their open test day that they had on Thursday was completely wet. On Friday morning, it started out wet, it dried out quite a bit, but they're still used to the track when it is slippery. Yeah, they've had all sorts of conditions this weekend, and that wet session on Friday morning, after that, it was Roman DeAngelis who set the fastest time. He said afterwards he'd never had so much fun at the wheel of a race car because the car was sliding around all over the place. He was really having to work hard. It would be unbelievably fun to drive one of these when conditions are not optimum, because you really would have to hang on for your life. And we've got a battle developing between Will Hardiman, race winner at Sebring, and young Maxwell Root, who is the Hurley Haywood Scholarship winner. Hurley, who had a big birthday yesterday, so if you're listening, Hurley, happy birthday to you. Victor Gomez the 4th is our leader in the gold class. Should pay tribute to him, as he has put 2 Platinum Masters cars between himself and second in class Bill Smith. But for Victor Gomez, in that number 25 machine, he has not been the fastest car in category in every session all weekend. I think Jeremy's looking to put that right now. Yeah, there's some really good battling going on up and down the field here. And Victor Gomez does hold on to that lead in the Gold Cup in the 13th position overall in car number 25. So he's made up 1 position on the field, but once again it's Anthony Imperato. Despite his relative lack of experience, he had set the fastest lap
in the lead of this race out front, and he's edged away a little bit over Trenton Estep. That's a magnificent drive.
Audible gasp from me as David Baker poked his nose in towards where Victor Gomez was lining up to turn into turn 4, but wisely backed out of it, decided he can get the older model specification year car a little bit later. Gold Cup cars, they run with the yellow number paneling and the yellow mirrors. They are cars in this weekend from 2014 through 2016. All the cars at the front, those are our platinum cars with the black number paneling on the side. Those are brand new 2017 and 2018 specification. It is Anthony Imperato with a quarter of a second lead over Trenton Estep. David Kolkman in the 71 continues to circulate in third. It is Roman DeAngelis in the number 1 machine who is fourth, and then the battle for fifth perseveres with Will Hardiman in the 19 More Speed Porsche ahead of Maxwell Root in that number 7. And Root is really looking to push his way forward. He's got his windshield wiper going though consistently, and he's the only one who does.
Yeah, because he's right behind that car. The car ahead of him is the number 19 of Will Hardiman, and going through that spray on the back straight, it probably does leave quite a lot of residue on the windscreen. But out in front of the race last time around, Anthony Imperato continues to lead, but it was Trenton Estep who set the new fastest lap last time around. He was only a couple of tenths of a second behind as they crossed the line, and he's still tucked under the rear wing of Anthony Imperato as they come off the carousel.
Oh gosh, as they come through the final complex of corners, first they have the right-hander and then they open the hands back up to the left, diving down to come back up the hill across the start-finish line. Estep hugs the curb tighter than anyone else does on that initial right-hander. All weekend, he's been getting caught over that, almost his right front wheel getting hooked there, and he looks down the inside of Imperato, but decides he's a little bit too far back to make that move stick. Estep will be a little bit gun-shy to make a move where he takes a competitor out as he drops 2 wheels off the exit of turn 3. He had contact with Maxwell Root at Barber Motorsport Park, where he was then given a penalty for avoidable contact. He won't want to take a chance of having something like that happening again, and certainly not when it's going for the lead of the race. If you can get around him, but do not take him out.
That's exactly right, particularly, of course, as Trenton Estep is the championship leader after 4 races. We have 4 different winners. We've had Trenton Estep won round 1, Will Hardiman round 2, Roman DeAngelis round 3, and then the second of the races at Barber Motorsports round 4 was run by David Kolkman in kind of 71. Now, potentially, Anthony Imperato would love to make that 5 in a row.
Well, variety is the spice of life, Jeremy. They do say that. It's been all Charlie Luck in terms of our Platinum Masters category. He did not start the first race of the season, but he
started, but he was out very early.
He didn't classify in the final results because of that early contact. It's been 1, 1, and 1 ever since then. So he has had 3 wins on the bounce. Mark Vame has been the guy to beat in that category all weekend. Again, they run the 2017 and 2018 specification cars. But if you are considered a master, it is because of your age and experience, as Jeremy said in the grid read down. It's nothing to do with your car. It's all about the driver. Alan Metney, a guy who jumped up from the Gold Cup last year, is now the Platinum Masters, and he's leading the category. He is in 7th overall, leading by a car ahead of Mark Vame. That battle will come back together though. And in the gold class, Victor Gomez leading still by 2 cars ahead of Bill Smith in 2nd in the number 42. And Bill was very impressive early on. Was it the second practice session where he was quickest?
He was one of them. He was right towards the front. He was doing a really good job. Yeah. Absolutely right. Here is our race leader, the Henry Rifles entry. Full Right Motorsports, the Ohio team of JDX Racing's Trenton Estep right there, but closing in. Fastest lap of the race last time around for our 4th place car. That is David Kolkman from Germany, making his debut in North America this season.
And in 4th place, Roman DeAngelis, fastest Sector 1 of the entire race and personal best Sector 2. So he is also looking to close in on the lead trio as Estep has a look at Imperato, again sticking the nose out, but not close enough to make the move into turn 1. Imperato's lead is safe for now, but Estep is not giving up. I think he'd almost be faster to just deploy the tow hook, Jeremy, to just push the button and launch an arrow in spy fashion to grab onto the back of the number 91. He's staying very close. Kolkman now within a second and Roman DeAngelis is 2 seconds back. That lead quartet could very easily swap positions lap on lap. And as you said, the Wright Motorsport crew of the leading car, they have an advantage because effectively they can sleep in their own bed at night. This is a home race.
Yeah, not quite. It's a little bit of a way from here, but it's great to be on home turf for that team. They've got a lot of miles around here, a lot of experience running these cars as well, and certainly Anthony Imperato has taken full use of that experience this weekend to claim his first ever pole position, and he would love nothing better to make that the first win as well to cap it off. And he's got a lot of pressure from behind.
Gosh, does he ever. These are the tires that they are running right now that they qualified on as well. Imperato, using every bit of them in that qualifying session, set the pole time. Wasn't it the last one across the line? So he, for sure, got his money's worth of that set of Yokohamas. And his last time through set the fastest Sector 1, trying to pull a slight bit of a gap on Estep. Is it working? Well, slightly, by a 10th that last lap across. Estep personal best sectors 1 and 3, so clearly pushing very, very hard as Hardiman is still fending off the efforts of Max Root in that number 7. So if you're around the track watching, your leaders are 91-3, 71-1, 19 and 7. Your Platinum Masters leader is the number 99 of Alan Metney, as Maxwell Root had a look at Hardiman going into turn 2. Didn't quite have enough to make it stick. I think Estep is about as far back as he has been, though, so far. 32 minutes, 14 seconds left in this race, which is the 5th round of the Yokohama GT3 Porsche Cup Challenge in the USA. And there are several versions of this championship, we should say as well, Jeremy. Yeah,
all the way around the world there are, and these all the top 3 cars each set their fastest laps on the last time around. This lap, it's a purple in Sector 1 for Anthony Imperato, which means the fastest first sector time of anybody during this race. But in Sector 2, it's Trenton Estep who does exactly the same with the purple sector as well. But the fastest lap of all was set by the 4th place car, Roman DeAngelis, a couple of laps ago. So, as you say, Shay Adam, nothing really between these 4 cars as we've still got lots of time left in this race.
And worth mentioning Roman DeAngelis as well, the young Canadian who is going for not only the US Championship, but the Canadian Championship as well. So we'll get a lot of track time running in Porsches this season. I would love to see a heart rate monitor for Anthony Imperato and Trenton Estep right now, because I'm sure that Imperato's working hard. His heartbeat at least 160, I would say, trying to fend off Estep. And they're both youngsters. They're both in the early days of their career. For Imperato, only 27 years old. That's older. That is not the kind of driver that most factories would look at. For Estep, he came over to this version of the sport last year. He has been racing these Porsches. This is his 2nd year of experience. And last year, we thought he was going to be a championship contender. He missed 1 round, and that's really what made a big gap. He wants vengeance for that, and coming out leading the championship is great when you're 4 rounds in, but leading it by 1 point over Will Hardiman, who is 1 point over Roman DeAngelis, that is not enough.
No, it certainly isn't. Trenton has a big crash, didn't he, at Watkins Glen?
Yes.
Watkins Glen last year. And did a good job to come back from that. And it was Trenton who set the new fastest lap last time around on 26.118. was the lap. The pole lap this morning was a 125.3, just to put this into perspective.
And the time set by Estep was 7/1000ths of a second faster than what Anthony Imperato did. So they are really matching each other step for step. That last lap across, they were 3/1000ths of a second difference. Now, if you need to think about that in a decimal term, because maybe numbers aren't your thing, I know they aren't mine, 0.003 of a second difference. If you pull out your phone and you try to press start and stop as quickly as you can, a really good time might be a 0.1.
No.
So,
0.1? You can do 0.1?
Well, a really good time would be a 0.1.
I'll say. I've never done that, and I do a lot of timing.
I have a friend, Dion von Moltke, who's not here, who's a racing driver, who sent a screenshot of a 0.1 one time. So whether he did it or whether he photoshopped it.
If he does it on a regular basis, I'll be seriously impressed. Plus, he's got a really, really good watch. He might, of course, have a very expensive watch, which might help.
That's true.
New fastest lap, though, last time around. It was a 3rd place car this time, David Coltman. So the last few laps of the race, the number 3 set the best time, then number 71, then the number 1, then number 3, then the number 71. So once again, nothing between those leaders. And this pack a little bit further back with Alan Metney having made a good start to jump up into 7th position. He has got a big train of cars behind him.
Alan Metney leads Jeff Boss, who is a Platinum category car. He could be a Platinum Masters, but elected not to. He would rather race the Platinum category as is. But then, right behind them is Mark Vame, who has led pretty much every session for the Platinum Masters class. He is looking to reclaim that lead from Alan Metney. Anthony Imperato having to fend off Trenton Estep yet again. David Kolkman looms larger than he has before in the rear view mirror of Estep as they come in to that turn 2. It's going to be a 3-way battle for the lead here within a few seconds, Jeremy.
Yeah, it could well be, and Roman DeAndres isn't far back either.
No.
But on that was a new fastest lap of the race, and it was for the race leader, Anthony Imperato. It's actually trading just back and forth between each of these contenders. A great battle at the front of the field.
And if the track is slightly damp, it is certainly not showing in the speeds that we are seeing in the times.
Yeah, it's dried out now. There's no more rain at the moment, certainly, because the lap times are really, really quick. I mean, we're only 4/10 away from our pole time this morning, which is amazing.
Anthony Imperato coming through madness had the left front wheel off the ground entirely. Well, you know, if anyone is going to know how to set up a Porsche to run around Mid-Ohio, it would be John Wright in that organization. So normally it's not a good thing if you're 3-wheeling it, but clearly it's working well for Imperato. And, ooh, that's Mike Levitas goes for a spin in the number 36. Now, was he helped, or was that on his own? Mike has rolled the car back off into the Dandelions and is waiting for a safe opportunity to get started, which he now has, and continues along his way.
For 5th, Max Root has found a way past Will Hardeman on that lap.
Wow. Here we go. We're getting another look at what happened to Levitas. Oh, lost it on his own. Oh, and very nearly took out the side of Charlie Luck in the number 45. Well, Luck is lucky. Hate to use that pun, but Levitas, no harm, no foul, gets going again. And the nose of his car, there is no dandelions, no grass in that radiator. As Estep has another look at Imperato, he is very aggressive, letting his nose be shown, but he is not making any move to try and force contact with Imperato. He's driving very smartly right now, is Trenton Estep. I hate to say it and be the commentator's curse, but he really is. And David Kolkman is there. He is within about 3 cars lengths of Estep. Has Imperato used up his Yokohamas though, because he is sliding around a lot more than Estep is in the JDX Hertz machine.
Well, we will see, because there's still 25 minutes remaining in the race, and not even yet halfway through it. And a big slide there for Trenton Estep in 2nd place. But it's Anthony Imperato who leads, and he's just driving a beautiful race at the front of this field at the moment. He's got his head down. I think he's focusing forward rather than looking in his mirrors and just turning fast lap times, and that's what you need to do when you're out in front of the race.
At this point in time, Jeremy, if I'm in Imperato, I might just point my rear view mirror down at the floor and ignore it entirely. Absolutely. Because focus forward. And Anthony Imperato, he's a guy who's been on the podium twice before, once at Watkins Glen last year, 3 times before, excuse me, then once at Sonoma in the first race, and then to start out the series this year, oh, his Estep had a huge wiggle. It was a 3rd place at Sebring. Yeah, he's having quite a bit of trouble hanging onto that car right now. He's got the podiums, but he has not gotten a win before. So for Anthony, this would be a huge breakthrough moment going into the future rounds of the championship. It would only be a good thing for him, as the next place we go to is Watkins Glen, the last week of June, the 1st of July, and that really is his home track. So the confidence that he would be carrying forward would be immense.
Yeah, well, yeah, Watkins Glen, of course, is upstate New York. He's from the New York City area, from Brooklyn, but yes, he would certainly consider that a home race. He'll have a lot of support there, will Anthony Imperato, but what a good job he is doing now. He's under intense pressure from Trenton Estep. And right behind him now is David Coltman, and within a second of this trio, it remains Roman De Angelis as well.
One slip up, and you could very easily drop back to 4th position as Estep has a look down the inside. No, he's too far back. Going into turn 1, backs out of it. Again, I believe he learned from the incident at Barber. Even though the team felt that he wasn't necessarily at fault, they had the onboard video. It was ruled an avoidable contact incident, and very clearly Estep is avoiding that at all contact, at all resources, because he is using the intimidation factor, but he is not using Paul Tracy's chrome horn.
That's right. He's been a nice clean race at the moment. He's just keeping to the racing line. He's not overly defending either. Doing exactly what you need to do when you're in the front of the race. And, you know, for people who have that experience, like Trenton Estep, like, well, not so much David Coltman, actually, because he's only won one race before. But Trenton Estep has done a lot of winning in F1600 before he moved into the Porsches. He's still 18 years of age, but there's a lot of racing north of the border. Actually, along with Roman De Angelis, they had some fabulous battles north of the border in F1600 Formula Ford cars, and they are continuing that rivalry here, and great friendship, it should be said.
Yes.
Those two spend a lot of time together in the paddock, do Roman De Angelis and Trenton Estep.
You mentioned David Coltman not having a lot of experience at winning, but he does have a lot of experience in very, very competitive Porsche series. He ran 2 years in the Porsche Carrera Cup Deutschland, which is arguably the toughest form of this form of a championship. Carrera Cup Deutschland is where drivers who win that championship go on to become factory drivers for other teams. Ford, Porsche, you name it. There is a driver who has come through Carrera Cup Deutschland. He finished 8th last year with one top 5 finish, and he was 7th in the championship in 2016. He is used to this sort of elbow out fighting, hammer and tongs style racing, and he's fully prepared to adapt to the American way, as he proved he can in the last round at Barber. That was in the rain. That was a shortened race due to caution. Well, I say shortened race. There was less racing because there was a long full course caution due to the rain. Coltman really wants to prove that he can win a full green flag race, and he can do it on his own merit. Sitting now less than a second behind Estep, that number 71, but all eyes at the front, because Trenton Estep knows if David Coltman catches up to him, he's going to have to worry about what's happening behind him and not focus on the pressure forward, which is what he's been able to do for the first 25 minutes of this race. It is still Anthony Imperato leading in the number 91, ahead of Trenton Estep in the gold and black JDX Porsche, ahead of the black and red Park Place Porsche of David Coltman.
Yeah, so he's over the hump now. He's over half distance, and you're going to have to lap some slower cars before Toulon. The first car they'll have to get past is Eduardo de Leon in the number 22 car for JDX Racing. That's one of the Gold Cup entries. He's probably get him in the next lap or two.
Yep.
And that's going to be interesting how they work their way through. And in 4th position on that last lap, Roman De Angelis was the quickest guy among that top 4. As we can see, that 1, 2, 3, and 4 getting closer and closer, if that's possible.
It's true. It's the bungee cords are getting shortened, Jeremy. Yeah. It's just the stuff we put on them before the race actually kicks off. I kid. It's still Alan Metney leading in the Masters class, ahead of Mark Vame in 2nd and Charlie Luck in 3rd for the Masters runners, and Victor Gomez running sort of a lonely race in terms of the Gold Cup category. He is ahead of Bill Smith and Rob Ferriol in the number 42 and 5 respectively. At the head of the grid though, Anthony Imperato hanging on. He is doing a fabulous job, as now he can see the car he will need to pass in the lap traffic catching him as they come through the final complex of corners. The blue flag is out, and very, very wisely, the number 4 being held out as well to let the car know, the number 22 of Eduardo de Leon know, there are 4 faster cars. You must let 4 cars go. And he does not get in the way of this top 4. And Jeremy, oh my goodness, you could almost throw a blanket over them. 91, 3, 71, and 1. If you try to say them as they're coming past you, you wouldn't be able to in time.
No, and it was an excellent job there by Eduardo de Leon to stay out of the way. And but in the meantime, The guy on charge once again is Roman DeAngelis in 4th position. He's just set a new fastest lap of the race, a 1:25.656 last time around.
And Jeremy's done a better sector 1 time the last lap around, and I would imagine that's partly because he had a massive tow from the 3 cars ahead of him. Imperato has done a phenomenal job to hold off the pressure of Estep. Kolkman right there as well, waiting to pick up the pieces if there are any, or drive through them if that's the way it has to be. And then Roman DeAngelis just biding his time, closing little by little by little. Personal best sectors 1 and 2 for DeAngelis, but overall best sector 2 for Estep. He's not giving it up yet.
No, it's not. Inside 20 minutes to go, but there's still a long, long time. There's a lot of laps left in this race, and absolutely it is wide open. But it is Imperato. It's led from the green flag. And he's still turning a string of really, really good laps into the 25s again. There's a new fastest lap again, though, for Roman DeAngelis. He clips another few thousandths of a second away from his previous best.
Without doing a particularly good sector 3 time. It was good. It wasn't the best he's done, and it wasn't the overall best. So that's very impressive, as Will Hardiman has decided it's go time to get that 5th position back from Maxwell Root. He is less than a second behind the number 7 machine, the white, blue, and silver car. But all of a sudden, Will Hardiman does the overall best lap that we have seen so far.
Sure does.
Hello, Mr. Texas. Anthony Imperato. I really wish he was wearing a heart rate monitor that we could see right now, Jeremy. That would just be so fascinating. And Victor Gomez with a 20.8 second lead in class. But there is a battle for 2nd and 3rd in the Gold Cup category. Bill Smith and Rob Farrell in the number 42 and 5, respectively. Kurt Fizika is looming in the picture as well. Yeah. He could very easily go up to 2nd. Yeah,
there's not much between her and Bill Smith. They're defending the inside line up to turn 2. Is that going to give Rob Farrell an opportunity perhaps to get a better exit and a run down the straight? We will see, but meantime, there's battles all the way around this racetrack. The first 4 cars covered that lap by 1.3 seconds. Yeah, that's all 4 cars covered by 1.3 seconds. As Rob Farrell does move to the inside under braking for turn 4, he's going to take away that 2nd place in the Gold Cup.
Good move, too. And thank you to the wonderful people on Twitter who said that it was not moisture on the back straight that was being kicked up. I don't know what it was. And the windshield wipers were going. It certainly looked like rain, but dried out fairly quickly for whatever it was. Oh no, Will Hardiman's off, and he's in the gravel. He's beached it, spinning the rear Yokohamas. He is not getting any sort of purchase. Is that turn 4? Oh no, Will. Full course caution is out. He will need to be retrieved. Will, stop spinning the tire. You're not going anywhere, unfortunately, bud. Will Hardiman, whose driver coach is some guy named Bamber, who's got a little bit of a talent. A couple Le Mans wins to his name. Here we go, an opportunity to see. Oh, it was in turn 2. He got drawn in by the shiny backside of Maxwell Root's number 7 with the chrome on it, and just missed his braking point, went in backwards. The IMSA safety crew is with him now. They're gonna have a little bit of work to get that number 19 more speed Porsche out of the gravel, though, because it's quite deep in there.
And that's a crucial mistake for the guy who's running 2nd in the championship points coming into this weekend. That's exactly what he didn't need to do. The key to winning championships in the IMSA competition is consistent finishes. And throwing it off into the gravel and losing a lot of points is not what he wanted. He's going to lose. Well, he's going to fall quite a long way back down the order probably now as a result of this error. Even if they can get the car going again, he's going to lose at least 1 lap and possibly more, probably more than that. So he's going to lose quite a bit of ground. It's Trenton Estep who leads coming into this round by 1 point over Hardiman. DeAngelis just 1 point further back, and our race leader now, Anthony Imperato, he's only 11 points behind DeAngelis.
They pulled him out of the gravel bed backwards, Jeremy, which gives me some concern to what went up the exhaust pipe, because that would be the natural inclination of the gravel. That would be very difficult to shake loose. But they are pulling him backwards toward the tire barrier, and where I would imagine he would drive on the hard standing back toward the racing line, but he would know well enough to stay off. He's already dropped, showing in 15th position, and still has not yet resumed. After doing such a great lap. after setting that purple lap time.
Yeah.
That is tragic.
So the speed is in the car clearly, but maybe Will just got a bit carried away there with that speed. He'd lost a position to Max Root halfway through that stint on lap 12, but he'd remained with Max and was actually closing in again when he set that fastest lap, but has chucked it into the gravel. So he's going to be at best one lap down to everybody else, other than number 22 car, which is already a lap down.
Just a tick over 14 minutes remaining in this race, the 5th round of the championship. Imperato is your leader, and he is saying track conditions are too bad. We can't go back to green. No, let's just stay under yellow the whole time. It's fine. Because of the pressure applied by Trenton Estep, and can't imagine that would be abating anytime soon. Estep in 2nd position in the number 3, the black and gold JDX car. Then we find David Kolkman in the Park Place Porsche. And hello to all the fans who have stuck it out over the course of the day. You've been rewarded with a lot of really good racing. And it's not over yet. We still have a bit more to come. Is it going to be the 91, the 3, the 71, the 1, the 7? Could this be Max Root's opportunity?
Well, he certainly turns some good lap times. I mean, all the leaders have turned laps within a few tenths of a second of each other. And this is going to bring him right back into contention in car number 7.
It is. Hardiman doing a good job to weave and get the stones out. Now, he was doing that off the racing line, heading down towards turn 4. The question is, how much of the non-racing line is going to be utilized? Because that has been a very good passing opportunity we have seen so far today. Attempts made, namely by Trenton Estep, on Anthony Imperato along there. Don't want to take a chance of running over a stone, getting a puncture, and then ruining your race altogether. That is not the goal. Oh, somebody has a Mater blanket. How cute. I like that. Race Mater, Tow Mater from Cars. Movie, Jeremy.
Sorry.
It's all right. Oh, and a puppy under a blanket as well. Hello, all of you people out there. Thank you for coming out to this IMSA extravaganza weekend. We still have one more race this weekend for the Porsche GT3 Cup Challenge USA by Yokohama. They get to go back out on track tomorrow morning again. So that's the other part of this, Jeremy. Don't take a chance with your car to where you can't fix it for tomorrow's race and then lose out on all those points as well.
Yeah, true.
You have to be mindful.
Absolutely right. This is going to be quite a restart, isn't it, as Will Hardiman brings the number 19 car onto pit lane.
If you're sitting down, you might want to stand up for these last 11 minutes and 45 seconds as the green flag is about to be waved as the cars are coming around through Sector 3. I can hear the buzzing of those flat 6 engines. Safety car has pulled away, and they are line astern. It is a single file restart. Anytime we get going again after a caution, behaving pretty well so far. Anthony Imperato in control of the field. And now he gets on the go fast pedal and he pulls as much of a gap as he can from Trenton Estep, but Estep staying with him. This is just resumed right where we left it off, Jeremy.
It certainly has.
Gone straight back to the craziness. David Kolkman still 3rd, Roman DeAngelis still 4th, and Max Root in 5th is glommed on to those leading pack. He's not letting them get away this time.
He's not. Those first 5 cars now absolutely nose to tail. A little bit of a gap back to Alan Metney, but what a good job Alan Metney is doing. Yeah. He's a guy who's only in his 2nd season of racing that I Fly Porsche. He is leading the Masters class in this race, looking to get his first win in Masters this weekend. That was a goal coming in. He's done a really good job. His previous best overall finish was an 8th. That was at Barber Motorsports Park in race 1 there, and he's currently running in 6th place in car number 99. That's Alan Metney.
Last year, running in the Gold
David Baker on the outside of Fred Pordad at turn 5. No, that doesn't quite work.
No, it doesn't. And Victor Gomez, who had a really good seat for all that, was going, come on, guys, please just don't screw up my race. I've got a very comfortable lead in the Gold Cup class, even coming back out from the race restart. And Estep again pestering Anthony Imperato, not letting Imperato breathe for a moment in that number 91, the Wright Motorsports Porsche. He's had his hands full, and Estep back to hooking his wheel on the curve as they come through 12, and then opening it up as they go through 13. He's got a great run on Imperato, looking down the inside at 1, decides, nope, that's not going to work. Very, very smart driving from the driver of the number 3. And that's sort of what we've come to expect, especially after a weekend that he had like last time, as he makes it a very aggressive look to the inside, back into that line. Now, drivers, you will want to stay on the racing line because there might be pebbles off of it. Estep needs to remember that. Oh, as Imperato dives down to the area of the track where Hardiman left quite a bit of gravel. Estep follows him down.
He takes a somewhat defensive line down into turn 4, does Anthony Imperato. It's the first time we've seen that during this race.
Yeah.
Inside 10 minutes to go, and that was going to cost him a little bit of time on the exit. There's a huge spin for Greg Palmer in car number 44.
Greg Palmer just had a huge accident where he didn't hit anything.
Yeah, man, that was
scary. He went off the road a la Joey Hand a few years back and managed to recover by spinning the car, coming to a complete stop, and then calmly, okay guys, I'm okay, getting going again. Estep with another look at Imperato.
Yeah.
This time they're side by side.
Coming up the hill towards he's going to make a move around the outside. Boy, that was a brave pass by Trenton Estep there. He takes over the lead in the Hertz car. Slight mistake at turn 9 for Anthony Imperato, who did all of a sudden just got a little bit defensive, and that has cost him dearly.
Greg Palmer in that 44 is still stopped out on the track. At least that's what he's showing on the timing and scoring. Imperato already a figment in the mirror for Trenton Estep, who has pulled out nearly a 4/10 of a second gap. That didn't take very long, so he wanted to get out front and move forward. Now Imperato is going to have to worry about that 71 Park Place Porsche because David Kolkman wants to get around Imperato and have a shot at the lead and the win in a race where he can say, hey guys, they didn't give this to me. It was green when I took the checker.
Yeah, that was a great pass there by Trenton Estep, and Anthony Imperato clearly struggling just to get a little bit more, get his tyres, Yokohama tyres, back up to optimal working temperatures after they cooled down during that full course caution. And Trenton Estep, the youngster, just taking advantage of it.
Greg Palmer still stopped out on course. He dropped his left side wheels off the course as he was exiting turn 2, and then had a huge moment where he's going through the grass going, I got it, oh, maybe I don't. Re-got grip on the racing surface, and that spun him back around. He is now moving again, though, so for the 44, that was an exciting adventure to tell the grandkids one day.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it? My goodness me.
So Estep, Imperato, Estep, Imperato, Kolkman, DeAngelis, Root. Sorry, Estep was so far out in front of that last camera shot that he wasn't even registering, so I thought perhaps Imperato had gotten back around.
He hasn't, because Trenton Estep has just got the hammer down. He's edged out. This is the biggest gap we've seen in this race so far for anybody. First of all, of course, it's Imperato, but Estep, having taken that lead, is taking full advantage of it. He's just set his best lap of the race, our race leader, at 1 minute 25.658.
Trenton Estep is taking full advantage of the clean track in front of him. No cars to lap, which is something that they were dealing with before we had that full course caution. Anthony Imperato now has to use that rear view mirror. He has to tilt it back up. Sorry for giving you bad advice there, Anthony. You must now use it. And David Kolkman goes around Imperato, but can Imperato do the over-under? No, he does not have the grip. So Kolkman up into second, and Imperato is going to lose another position to Roman DeAngelis, who does a beautiful move down the inside. No, can't quite make it stick. He got a bit of grass on that move, but backed out of it rather than take the 91 out and then incur a penalty. That was definitely some smart driving by the young Canadian in that number 1 machine.
Yeah, it was. He could have kind of forced the issue there and perhaps got it tangled together. So wisely just decides this is a long season. He's still very much in championship contention, so doesn't want to risk either getting a penalty and losing a lot of positions or spinning off the racetrack.
The race director, John Maskey, is somebody who looks at many, many things and decides if it's a racing incident or not, but you don't want to take the chance of giving it to him to decide. It's much easier to not do first and then beg for forgiveness. It's much easier to just play it safe. 5 minutes to go in this race, and the last time across the line, Jeremy, the fastest man was?
The race leader, Trenton Estep, has just had a new fastest lap of the race, a 125.456. So we've had 26 laps completed in this race, and on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 different laps. We've had a new fastest overall lap in this race. Now it's Trenton Estep in the lead of this race and making hay. Well, the sun might not be shining, but it certainly is for Trenton Estep because he is out in front and edging away from David Kolkman.
I love this championship. Roman DeAngelis appears to have minimal grip for his rear tires as he comes through madness because his back half of the car was wiggling and now his front wheels were off the ground as he completed that complex. He is still trying to push to get the final podium position away from Anthony Imperato. Roman DeAngelis came into this weekend third in the championship ahead of Anthony Imperato. He doesn't want any sort of point swing going on. He is behind in points Trenton Estep, but he will jump ahead of Will Hardiman after this race, with Hardiman's off earlier on. Trenton Estep, bye-bye, 2.1 seconds ahead of David Kolkman, who himself is 1.5 ahead of the battling pair of Anthony Imperato and Roman DeAngelis. So it is 3:71, 91, 1 and 7. Max Root hanging on to the back of that battle for third. He is only a further 0.6 of a second behind DeAngelis. So if anything happens where the two of them get side by side, DeAngelis and Imperato, I mean, and take sort of speed away from each other, Max Root will be right there as well, in line for his first podium position of the championship.
Well, yeah, he's got a couple of positions to make up before he's going to do that. But he's still been a really, really good run for Max Root, who is very inexperienced at this sort of level of racing. He's raced in Porsches last season, did very, very well in the Pirelli Trophy Series, finished second in that, I believe, and woulda, coulda, shoulda won it, apparently. But he did win the Hurley Haywood Scholarship. That got him into this Yokohama Challenge Series this season. And he's doing a magnificent job there, keeping the pressure on Roman DeAngelis, who's already, of course, a race winner. But a new fastest lap again last time around by Trenton Estep, a full, well, 100th of a second quicker than his previous lap. But hey, book it. It's another fastest race lap, and he's edging away. But Anthony Imperato has now got that car fully up to speed again, to the purple sector this time around, but I don't think he's going to have any chance of catching the race leaders again.
No, and I do apologize. Maxwell Root got a podium in his first ever race at Sebring. He did finish third as Bill Smith has gone for a spin around the backside of the course in the orange number 42 machine. He was looking good for a gold category podium. It's still Victor Gomez who leads in that class, but now it is ahead of the 5 of Rob Ferriol. And then in third, Kurt Fazikis in that number 52. He's doing the ninja thing today, Jeremy. He's just sneaking up on them.
That's right, and he is doing a fine job there. Change of position, by the way, for 6th position. Jeff Boss has managed to find a way past Alan Metney finally a couple of laps ago. He's now edging clear, so Jeff Boss making a return to racing this year after an absence of well, a long time. Yeah, since he last raced. Actually, his last race prior to this season was in an IndyCar, a champ car at Surfers Paradise, all the way back
2003, wasn't it? With Dale Coyne.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been quite a long time for him, but we should mention...
He did a 6th place finish at Sebring, so he's looking to match that here this weekend. New fastest lap, by the way, by our race leader, Trenton Estep, in car number 3.
And our Masters class category is led by Alan Metney ahead of Charlie Luck, ahead of Mark Vame. The 3 of them separated by less than 5 seconds, so that is still up for grabs realistically. Trenton Estep, the leader, 2.5 seconds, sees the white flag and is beginning his last lap with fewer than 55 seconds remaining in this race. This is it, just focus forward. Looks pretty good right now for Trenton Estep and David Kolkman to hold on to their positions. Roman DeAngelis, though, less than 0.4 of a second behind Anthony Imperato. Again, for Anthony, this is going to be sustain the pressure, because if you want that podium, son, you're going to have to work for it. Roman is hungry for points. Alan Metney, Charlie Luck, Mark Vame. I'm surprised at Mark Vame, actually, Jeremy. He was so good in every practice session. For him to be back in third, he's going to want to look at the data and do something different for tomorrow's race. In gold, Victor Gomez should have no pressure for the remainder of this lap, as Trenton Estep can look forward. He can look in his mirror. He's not going to see headlights. He has that much of a lead. And for
Yeah.
Trenton Estep, what a drive.
He's not letting up either. He's just got the purple middle sector in his racetrack. Track fastest of all then during this race. Trenton Estep, just one corner to go now.
Oh my goodness. Trenton Estep, our first repeat winner of the year, takes round 1 of the IMSA Porsche GT3 Cup Challenge USA by Yokohama here in Mid-Ohio. Second place goes to the number 71 of David Kolkman. And in third, he does hang on for it, our pole sitter, the number 91 of Anthony Imperato. Fourth will be Roman DeAngelis, but it is the 25 Victor Gomez IV, who is the winner in the Gold Cup category. He's ahead of Rob Ferriol, who we're waiting to cross the start-finish line now. And then Kurt Vizikis will bring his Purple Beast home in third. There was a spinner right at the end of the lap. I thought I
what
heard
happened to
that.
Fred Pourdad, right at the final corner.
Right in front of us.
Yeah,
and
lost 10th position there.
he did. For the Platinum Masters class, congratulations goes out to Alan Metney in the number 99. He takes the win ahead of Charlie Luck. So that means Luck's finishes this year did not start 1, 1, 1, 2. Not a bad record. I would imagine he would hang on to the points lead in that.
You keep saying he didn't start. He did start.
It's what it showed
Otherwise,
up.
he wouldn't have got any points.
It showed up on the final sheet that he was not classified on the final results sheet.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I'll find it after the race, but he's had a remarkable year either way. And in third, Mark Fame, the guy who dominated the weekend leading up. But all of the congratulations has to go to Trenton Estep. If at first you don't succeed, try again. And that's what he did, Anthony Imperato, today, to take that lead.
Yeah, that was a tremendous drive by Trenton Estep, doing exactly what he needed to do. He's got the opportunity last year to join Harrison Bricks and Jeremy Dale at JDX Racing, and he's got the Byers Porsche is on the car this weekend, as it was last time out at Barber Motorsports Park. And Byers is based here in Columbus. Huge amount of support there from this local sponsor. They backed Corey Fergus when he ran so well in this championship as well. So great to see that name back on this car. And Trenton Estep, there'll be a lot of satisfaction with what is a tremendous victory today for the youngster from San Antonio in Texas.
With a beautifully pristine, clean Porsche GT3 Cup car. You can't ask for anything better than a car as spotless as when you took it out of the garage. The crew members are right to applaud as Trenton makes his way over to the podium. It'll be a little bit of a celebration tonight, Jeremy, because of course they still have one race to go this weekend, and you can't exactly let the horse out before the end of the race has started. Race number 2 kicking off on Sunday at 9:15 in the morning. Hopefully, the skies will not open up during that race either, because this was pretty fun racing conditions.
It was, wasn't it? And having come into the race with a 1-point lead in the championship, Trenton Estep now will have a 9-point lead over Roman DeAngelis, who will move from third to second. Behind him will be Anthony Imperato, who also gained a little bit of ground there with the well, he's on the guys ahead of him. David Koltman also will move up one position, and Maxwell Root also will move into the top 5. So Will Hardman will fall a long way down the order with that non-finish. Well, he did finish, but with a bad score.
We knew before the race began that it was going to be an exciting one, and it delivered. Congratulations to Trenton Estep, Victor Gomez IV, and Alan Metney on your race wins. Join us tomorrow on RS2 IMSA Radio for more Porsche action. Bye-bye.